Once you have a signed around purchase and sale agreement, escrow comes into play. They are a neutral third party, which means they don't represent the buyer or the seller. Most escrow closers are LPOs, or limited practice officers. This designation allows them to close the transaction and prepare the deed transferring title to the buyer. Their job function is to ensure the purchase and sale agreement, along with any amendments, is followed. And because they are a neutral third party, they will always require mutual instructions and signatures for any changes made to the contract. The escrow fee is split between the buyer and the seller equally. To get escrow started, you'll simply need an email your escrow closing team the signed around purchase and sale agreement. It's very important to send that over the moment it's signed so escrow can work with buyers to collect earnest money within the timeline. The beginning of escrow has a lot of communication with all parties, as escrow needs to gather information from the buyer and the seller, as well as send the earnest money receipt to the brokers. Once escrow receives the information from buyers and sellers, they begin processing the file. This is the time they will order payoffs from seller's current lender, reach out to the homeowners association to inquire about liens, gather amounts owed to utility companies, and review the title commitment. If there are any items on title that need further information from the sellers, escrow will reach out with forms to fill out or questions they need to answer to. They will work with the seller and the title officer to clear title and move towards closing. It's important to know when escrow works on payoffs for utilities, it is only with lienable utility companies. Companies like Comcast and other local utilities may not be lienable, and that is something the buyer and seller will need to deal with outside of the transaction. After gathering the needed information, escrow will begin to prepare settlement statements. These statements, each sent separately, will show the buyer and seller what their debits and credits in the transaction are. It will total at the end to show the buyer the funds needed in order to close, and to the seller the proceeds they will be receiving after close. Each side is sent an estimated settlement statement for review prior to their signing appointment. For sellers, this could be as early as a week before closing. And for buyers, it's often closer to closing. In order for escrow to prepare the settlement statement, they must receive documents from the lender first. This can sometimes result in the buyer receiving the settlement statement within a day of the signing appointment. Once both signings have taken place, escrow reviews the documents to ensure all the signatures were received. Then we're headed to closing. On closing day, escrow ensures all buyer funds have been received prior to releasing the file to record with the county. Once they've released to record, they wait until the county sends out recording numbers. At that point, the transaction is officially closed and escrow will disperse funds. Sellers can either pick up a check from escrow that day or receive the funds wired on the next business day. Escrow will also disperse broker compensations after closing. A few quick tips on making escrow a smooth and quick process. It's important buyers and sellers fill out their opening paperwork as quickly as possible. We have a streamlined portal that allows them to fill it out on their phone or computer. Getting contact information for buyers and sellers at the start with the purchase and sale agreement will allow escrow to reach out right away to coordinate earnest money delivery. It also allows escrow to get in front of any questions the buyers and sellers may have. When it comes to signing appointments, it's best for buyers and sellers to leave the week prior to closing as flexible as possible. This is crucial for buyers working with lenders. Escrow cannot schedule a signing appointment until they have received the closing documents from the lender. Buyers and sellers can sign in office with their escrow team or choose to have a mobile notary or a remote online mobile notary sign them at their home. There may be fees associated with this convenience. Escrow is the finish line to a purchase transaction and can sometimes feel fast-paced and confusing. Your escrow team is here to walk you through this process hand in hand to get to closing on time.